Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the very first Comic-Con GeekVerse special. This is the first episode we've ever done for Comic-Con. I am the man without fear, Travis Snail.
The man without fear?
That's Daredevil's, nickname.
I am the outsider, Dylan List.
And I'm Emily.
Where did the outsider come from?
It's a Dishonored reference.
Oh.
I came up with a bunch of good taglines, so I'm set for the next, month.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe just this weekend, since we're doing, 100 casts.
Did you write them down?
Yes.
Oh, good. So, ladies and gentlemen, what we're talking about today was the first couple days of Comic-Con. Nothing too huge as far as other panels. There's news here and news there. We're going to cover the Walking Dead trailer tomorrow, stuff like that. But we're mainly talking about the Marvel TV panel, primarily Netflix. Yeah, no, that panel is just Netflix. So we're going to talk about that. Before we get into that, this is the one of 6 known podcasts we're doing. The first Comic-Con special we had was the Dynamic Duo one. Check that out. We have this dropping today I don't know. Whenever you're listening to this, it's dropped. And then after this, there's 4 more podcasts. We got 2 more GeekVerses. We got a review of Killing Joke coming. And we're doing a special Netflix Unveil where a bunch of us from GeekVerse, Dynamic Duo, everyone's watching Ghost Rider 2, Spirit of Vengeance, because it is a 2 on my Netflix. So we're making a rare exception. I have seen it, but this will be the majority of people have not seen it. So it's going to be fun, so check all that out. We got lots of Comic-Con goodness. So I guess let's just get into it. Luke Cage, pretty much what they said is they're like, oh yeah, we're just doing a Luke Cage panel. And they didn't hint, blah, blah, blah. And I guess I should have kind of known, but I honestly thought it was just going to be Luke Cage and whatnot. So...
And whatnot? What is the whatnot?
The one that I would expect was the Daredevil Season 3.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it's coming, and then the other thing they did too is John Bernthal, the Punisher. He came out and just waved to the fans and just
shot some people.
No, I hope not for 2 reasons. 1, because we'll never get that series, and 2, he'll go to prison and people would have died. So we're not going to go over the whole panel because you can look online about the things they talked about. One of the things they talked about was they're going to name every episode a rap song. So the title of that will be some sort of rap song title
for Luke Cage.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
I like when series do themed titles. So I'm okay with it.
Like Hannibal would always have these they'd have different foods and whatnot in different languages and whatnot. So
yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, I like that. Dylan, you look like you don't find it cool. He has a smile.
No,
we're not live streaming today,
folks. The Hannibal thing is cool. The rap song, I don't listen to rap, so to me, I probably won't know what these lines are, and so
that's fair.
It's not going to affect the quality of the show in a good or bad way. It's just
a little Easter egg for those fans that do enjoy rap.
Yeah,
fair.
Sure.
Yeah, and I was talking about, because you couldn't see Dylan's face, tomorrow on the 2 GeekVerse episodes, we will be live streaming those since we got the whole crew. I just got off work. I'm all sweaty, gross, not show ready. I told Dylan before we started, so.
I was driving home and Travis was just biking around, being all sweaty. So yeah.
That, and a good shout out to Dylan, and I'm not sure who else helped you with the theme, but we have an official GeekVerse theme now.
Yes.
At the beginning, so very good.
I like it.
It's pretty cool.
So, back in Luke Cage, like I said, they talk about a few stuff here and there. They pretty much stress that the show's going to be a lot about, obviously, the street crime, politics, and even deal with race. I think that's a good thing, because I like that the other shows, they all kind of have their different themes as far as Daredevil's Law and Order, and Jessica Jones is about victims and victimizing and whatnot, and then this will kind of have a political crime edge. I guess before you saw it, well, not even before, but now that you've seen the trailer and we've talked about it, are you guys excited for Nick Cage? Are you excited for Nick Cage?
Whoa.
Are you excited for Luke Cage? And then you can just wrap that in your thoughts of what you thought of the trailer.
Well, I mean, we've all seen Jessica Jones here, and so that character, we already know that character. He's not a new character, so I'm down for it. I thought he did what's the actor's name for Luke Cage?
Mike Coulter.
Mike Coulter did a phenomenal job. Wow, come on, Travis.
Yeah.
Sorry,
we're trying to be professionals here.
Sorry, I got aside because of Pokemon Go. I had to turn my phone back on to vibrate, so it's the struggle is real. So if you heard
filthy
that,
nerd.
Yeah. Anyway,
no, he did a great job in Jessica Jones. The trailer for me, what was I don't know, it kind of seemed like the other one, where he's like in the gym and he's just getting shot by a bunch of people.
Fair. The trailers are pretty similar of him just like beating people up.
And like, I honestly thought, like, when he was just holding the door and like crunching around dude, like, I thought that looked kind of weird. Like, it didn't...
I loved that part, because he wrapped it around
It just
him.
looked like strangely animated to me.
Well,
I don't know.
I think because obviously it is strangely animated,
Yeah.
but... No, I agree. I really, really liked it, but I do think there was elements of it that were a bit cheesy, I guess you could say. But I don't know, from what I've read of Luke Cage in comics, some of his stuff is a little bit cheesy, so...
Well, that's what I was going to say.
It just looked weird with him walking around with a car door, is really what I'm getting at.
That's true.
It doesn't make me any less excited. I'm definitely going to watch it the day it hits Netflix.
I
probably won't watch it in one night like you will, but I will watch it over the course of a couple of weeks or something.
I don't know if I will watch. I'll probably watch that one over the weekend, because I love Daredevil, and I love... Like, Jessica Jones, we finished, the secretary and I finished, like, throughout the weekend. I didn't, like... Because I like Jessica Jones a lot, but she's not, like, one of my all-time favorites. And same with Luke Cage, I've always liked him, and I liked him in Jessica Jones. I didn't love him, but it's just because I think... Because he wasn't the main character. I really liked his performance, but I'm excited to see his actual show and see him deal with, like, stuff that's important to him. Like, I guess we got that with his wife, but then after his wife, he's just kind of, like, just cool Luke Cage who forgives Jessica Jones, which is fine, but, like, I'm looking for that character development. You know, that's what I'm looking for. I like the car door, and the thing I guess I like the most from... I still didn't know what the song is that hit that, actually, the official title, but I like the song. I like that it seems that it might be a bit more funny or light.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I've been kind of preaching. I love Daredevil for being dark, because Marvel doesn't have anything like that. And Jessica Jones, obviously, with the content that's dark. But I didn't... That was my fear, that every single Netflix show was just going to be the dark and twisty Marvel. And that kind of was like... I like the dark and gritty stuff, but I wanted something more fun and light. And Luke Cage looks like it could potentially do that.
Yeah, it looks like it'll be like a combination of those.
I was going to say, and that's, like... What I was saying, like, I don't mean corny or cheesy, I guess, but though from what I've read of him in the comics, like, it is a bit lighter, a lot of his stuff, except for when he was in the Jessica Jones run, it was pretty dark and gritty. And
which fits the show.
That's how her comic was, but even his appearances in it were kind of, he was a bit of an a-hole. Yeah. So,
Sweet Christmas.
Yeah, there's that.
I'm trying to think anything else. The beginning was like a little like... I thought the trailer overall was really good. The trailer was like, I was a little worried at the first 20 seconds. It was just like, oh, you should be a hero and blah, and it's that, like, you know, pep talk we've seen 1,000 times from, like, family friend to be like, oh, you gotta use these powers, you know, when it's like, okay, like, especially we know that he has 13 episodes, so we know he's gonna be a hero. Like, I hope that struggle that they show at the beginning of the thing, that's like a 1-episode thing, you know. I hope it's not like 4 episodes with him deciding of like, oh, should I be a hero, should I not, because it's like, we've seen it already. Like, we've seen that done a 1,000 times. So I'm trying to think. No, I like there's one part where he randomly just punches the wall and he grabs a pipe and he starts beating people up. Like,
when he, like, kicks down that, like...
the gate or whatever. It's something something metal and heavy.
It was something that he normally wouldn't kick down.
I do like that we are seeing more of his powers or abilities, I want to say, because in Jessica Jones we get a glimpse of it, but we don't see him, like... just him, right? We just see how it relates to another storyline, right?
Kilgrave, when Kilgrave is like controlling him and he's like killing Jessica Jones or trying to.
Yeah.
Or when he gets blown, or his bar gets blown up. Spoilers, sorry.
Yeah, well, if you're listening
you're
to
a little late
this,
to the game.
I imagine the Comic-Con weekend, if you're listening, you've seen Netflix, the series. So.
I think it'll... that's an interesting point to make up, because, like, Jessica Jones is weird, right? Because she has, like, super strength.
Yeah.
But she, like, doesn't. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Like, when I was watching, I was confused, like, what exactly her powers are. But Luke Cage is pretty...
They're just kind of, like, enhanced human abilities.
Yeah,
so it's like a big
I know,
jump.
but, like, then she was, like, flying at one point.
She said a big jump.
In the comics,
I know,
she
but
does
it's
fly.
Like... as Jewel.
But the point is, like, I was watching the show, and I don't know who the character is beforehand.
Yeah.
And it was, like, kind of confusing, whereas... this guy is just, like, super tank and has bulletproof skin, so, like...
No, definitely.
Kind of know what you're getting into, right?
The only thing, and it's just, like, a Jessica Jones thing with, like, I hope to see all the limits of his powers, like, also I know them as a comic reader, but in the show, because that's the two things that were my only complaints with him and Jessica Jones, the power-wise, was... one, I didn't like in some fight scenes he would just, like, destroy a person, then other fight scenes, like, he kind of struggled, like, not struggled, but they'd go on longer, and it was kind of like... you know, like, it seemed like sometimes he was more powerful than anything, and the thing that bugged me the most was that Jones, when he gets shot in the head with the bullet, and they just never really explain that. Like, a bullet went in him, and then it just, like, he woke up, and then he left Jones. And
I was just thinking that.
That was my only thing that was like, okay, because he has to go do his own show. So I hope that, I don't know, they won't explain that, but I hope they, focus on what his powers are on the show. And I think Jones, you'll get that next year, because remember, it ended with her, like, finding, like, the supposed lab or something to do with creating her.
Right.
So I think you'll find that. With Cage, like, I hope it's just not, like, thrown to the side, like, oh, he's super powerful, you know? But
yeah.
Do we have any idea, like, what the villain of his show is going to be? Or do you think it'll just be, like, one guy, like the other, like, Daredevil? And
yeah, the main one is, it's, like, Cottonwealth or Cottonwood, I can't remember, because Luke Cage, like, I have not read that much Luke Cage. I've read more Iron Fist or, like, Heroes for Hire when they're teamed up.
Yeah.
So Luke Cage, like, I don't know his background too well, but the thing for me is the Cottonwealth guy, I think the guy is, he's being played by a really good actor, but they showed pictures of him on the set one day, and he kind of had this helmet on, and that's what the character kind of wears at some points, but it looked a little cheesy for, like, the Netflix thing, so well,
that doesn't really fit the theme of, like, the bad guys
in
Daredevil and Jessica Jones are just, like, normal dudes.
Yeah,
so they look like it, at least.
I'm kind of hoping that, I don't know if that was fully him or henchman, I'm kind of hoping that, they say they want to deal with, like, that's a good thing about this, it's in Harlem, so the first time we're out of Hell's Kitchen, so I like that we're going to be dealing with a different community, so I hope it's one or two bad guys that are, like, organized crime.
Jones isn't in Hell's Kitchen.
What?
She's in Manhattan, but she's not, like,
I guess, but she goes to Hell's Kitchen.
She goes to it, but she's not necessarily in.
But
runs into the same nurse, so, I mean,
I feel like Manhattan and Hell's Kitchen are pretty close.
It's just different areas.
I feel like they're pretty close in tone and personality, where Harlem's going to be, like, this whole different thing. And I think that's the thing that I got just exactly from when that music hit. The rap song or whatever, just you could tell the tone is going to be different than the other two shows. So, yeah, I'm excited. We're all excited.
Yeah, definitely excited.
That's September 30th, so not too far. Only a couple months, and then everything to binge.
That seems weird to say, but it's true.
It's only a couple months?
Yeah.
2 months.
Yeah. And then after that, they showed, well, I guess they confirmed Daredevil Season 3, which I think we kind of knew, but it's always good to, you know.
I feel like everybody knew that it's coming, but...
but it's nice to get that reassurance, you know, because we don't get to see Netflix ratings, so we don't get to see, like... I would assume you get a Season 3, as when you sign into Netflix, at least on mine, he's always, like, the one, like, the main one. Maybe it just pertains to me, but, like, you always see, like, a picture of Daredevil, so... And I imagine... lots of people watch that show. Like, I wouldn't see why not.
Show, yeah.
So the teaser was small, 30 seconds. There's some fighting, blood went on a sign. Highlighted the 3. What do you guys think about this little tease?
It's pretty cute.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's cute. That's a cute way to do it.
You can tell it's all CG and no, like, they didn't shoot this at all. Like, it's somebody made it on a computer and whatnot.
Yeah. I think it's all you needed, really.
Yeah, it's good enough. It's enough to get people excited, like, re-excited, I guess. So. Yeah.
Now, this one I'll ask you, well, both of you. I don't know why. I think because we talked about it a bit last night already. So Defenders and Iron Fist come out next year. Mm-hmm. With Daredevil, they said coming soon. Do we feel we get that after or before Defenders?
I think it'd probably be after, is my guess. I honestly think that was just to confirm it, because, like, I have a friend, for example, and I told him about Daredevil and he watched it, and I tried to explain all this Defenders thing and how they're all going to come together, but he just, like, doesn't get it. And so I think it's just for the people like that who, like, aren't as into it as we are, and so it's just like, oh, it's coming, don't worry, like,
and I think
we're not done yet, I guess.
I think they'll get it.
But I don't think it'll be for a while yet.
Yeah, a couple of years. Yeah, I think they'll get it. I remember in the same way explaining when the first Avengers came out and explaining to, like, my mother of, like, and my auntie, like, they take this character and they're all going to cross over. They're like, okay, that sounds good. But now, like, Avengers, like, you see and you're like, I know what that means. That means they're all together. Yeah. And I think after the first season Defenders, people will be like, I know what that means. They're all together.
Good point,
yeah.
Did you have any more thoughts on when it may drop or...
No, I don't know. I would like it to drop at the same time, you know, kind of how it drops.
I thought you meant as Defenders. I'm like, what?
February, March, that time frame?
Yeah, March.
I'd like that just to keep
it
consistent, but if Defenders comes out, then it would probably be after that as much as...
Because when did...
Depending when Defenders comes out.
Because Jones came out November, and then Luke Cage's was originally, the rumor was November, it's September. So they like to do, like, one in the fall and one in the spring. So I imagine because what happens? I imagine Iron Fist will be. Yeah, no, I think Iron Fist will be the March one in 2017, and then fall will be Defenders.
I think it has to come out before Defenders.
Well,
So you at least
no,
know the
it will
character,
100.
right?
They've
So-
said that will happen.
Yeah.
So I was just.
Well, I mean, let's talk about Iron Fist next. I guess that had like a full trailer too.
Yeah, which I was surprised. Like I guess they've been filmed for a couple months, but it's still, I guess, the same thing of just they didn't. I would have still thought they would have still even teased like, hey, and get a couple more looks at our show, you know. So it was a full on kind of like for people that are gamers, like Dylan and I said this to him last night. It was like kind of a Sony thing of like, oh, like you thought they were done, and then it's like, oh, now there's this, you know. So what did you guys think about the Iron Fist teaser / trailer? It's only about a minute.
It was more of a teaser than a trailer.
Yeah.
I guess. But it was not a teaser in the sense of the Daredevil one, where you actually see the character and some scenes that are going to be in the
something
show,
else.
right?
That should be like a. I guess that can just be a tease, and then the teaser, you know, at the R for a little longer.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I feel like there should
That
be
R
something
means
for that
something
30
different.
second.
That R qualifies another 30 seconds.
Exactly.
But no, I mean, they actually had like footage from what will probably be in the TV show.
Yeah.
And I don't actually know who this actor is, but do you know him? I guess you've seen him and stuff.
He's from Game of Thrones. He's been in very
okay.
minimal stuff, not that much, and that's all I know him from. And he's even there a minor character. He does well, but like nothing that I'd be
This
like,
is
yeah.
where we'll see.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think Iron Fist is really cool. I think just like as a character, I like him more than like Luke Cage or anything like that, right? So I think I'm excited for it just because I've known Iron Fist as a character for a while, actually. Like even though
did even before.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I've known Iron Fist since I was like a kid. I think he's a really cool dude. So
Well,
I don't know anything about like his character like traits and stuff. I just
Yeah.
know he's like this badass ninja dude.
Yeah.
And I
With,
don't
like
know
fireballs and
anything
stuff, right?
about Iron Fist, so I think maybe I'm like a little more just kind of mad about it because I don't know anything about the character other than from what I've seen in like a Heroes for Hire run.
Yeah.
And that was like
And what I
actually
tell you.
within a Deadpool run, so it was like very, very minimal. But yeah, so I guess it was interesting enough. Yeah, seemed a bit darker than I was expecting, but maybe that was just for that teaser, and so you just get kind of maybe it'll be just one episode type thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'd agree with the darkness. I think some of it does. I'm kind of hoping for like a tonal shift halfway through the show of it being dark, as that's what happens. I guess parents die, and either as like you see in the trailer, like these monks kind of find him, and that's how it usually goes in the comics. Like either he's found by them or he goes there. Like it depends what you read, but he goes there and he's trained and he gets like this spiritual superpower. And yeah, I've always been a fan, like even before I started reading the comics, of what.
Spiritual superpower.
Well,
I'm
that's what he
picturing that
is.
scene from Doctor Strange where he gets punched in the chest.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. That this is very much like Netflix's version of Doctor Strange. Of
Okay.
like, oh, Daredevil's the really popular one, and then Jones is kind of like, okay, you got the film mark, and then Luke Cage is gonna be something entirely different. It's like gonna hopefully be a crime drama, but in Daredevil, you've gotten like kind of like appetizers of like Naboo coming back to life, or like the Hand, but you've like it's not full on. Like supernatural yet,
Right.
like you can see it's just getting there. Where Iron Fist will be there full on, like kicking the door, like Doctor Strange, where it's like Marvel's always hinted at magic in the movies, but they've never been like, hey, this guy's a wizard / sorcerer. You know, it's always science. That's always what it is. It's always like, oh, he built a suit. He's a Thor is like an alien. He's not a god. You know, like Bruce Banner is playing around with potions. So like there's potions. So like there's always a reason, but yeah, I'd say like for me it was a bit darker because Danny Rand is a really really funny character.
Rand?
Yeah, Danny Rand, that's his name. I always call him like Deadpool light, and not like a knock against him, but he's just not like as I say that, or I always say he's like PG-13 Deadpool. He's very witty, he's very funny and everything like that, very calm, cool, collected, and that's where he's always good with Luke Cage, where Luke is always serious and whatnot, and like when they're doing the Heroes for Hire thing and it's like people pay them to solve their problems, he's always serious and tough, where Danny Rand's just very cool to the situation, like, oh, whatever, we'll figure this out. So that's where I guess I would agree with you with the darkness. They didn't show any signs of that, but I imagine they're pretty, even some of the footage kind of felt like really early on filming of like they've only been at this for a couple months, so. But I liked it. Like, I'm gonna like it regardless, because I like Iron Fist. But I was just like to see I just like to see that it's being made, obviously, you know, and it still looks good. Whether like I think all the shows will always have a little dark tone to them. Like even Luke Cage, if it's funny, it's always gonna have like a little darkness to it because it's being like they're supposed to be like the real world heroes.
Yeah.
So,
I'm okay with that too because it is a TV series and not a movie.
Yeah.
So it's okay to have a little bit of darkness in there, and it's not going to be like a downer on like. So if you have a film like that, you're just kind of like, ugh, when's this going to end? But at least with an episode, you can move on to the next episode, and it might be a bit lighter. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what I was going to say, over-under, because after Daredevil, we saw it took him a whole season to get his costume. Over-under, if you had to pick one episode or at the end, when would you think he'd actually get his costume? I hadn't even thought about this. I just thought about it on the spot.
It was 13 episodes.
Yeah. For people that don't know, he wears...
I want it right now.
He usually wears, like, a yellow bandana. Or sometimes they could go with the all-white look.
He wears a kick-ass costume with a yellow bandana.
Or Kick-Ass wears a Iron Fist costume.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's usually green or yellow, or there is an all-white version. I don't like it as much because it's just kind of like...
Moon Knight.
It's just like... Yeah, there's other people with all white. I like the green and the yellow. It's cool. He's bandana. He looks like a cool ninja. And that's when you said as a kid, like I legitimately almost cried last night. Not because the teaser was that good, but it's just like, this is a character that I really loved as a kid, and simply because he just looked cool. Mm-hmm. So that's, as a kid, you're like, oh, this guy looks cool. He knows karate, everything. He has, like, these superpowers. And then as I got older, I read it, and I really liked it. But it was one of these things, he's so minor, so, like, C-level, you never really thought that he'd come around to be not only like in a movie but just like a 13-episode TV show. For that I was so excited, but then I was like, okay, so now when do we get this suit? And I'm gonna say episode 9. I'm just taking a stab in the dark because I don't think they'll pull the Daredevil route. No, I'll go 6. I'll go 7. I'm going halfway. No, I'll go 6. I'm going halfway mark.
My gosh.
I don't think they'll do the Daredevil route of waiting a whole season because Daredevil did that, but I could see them easily doing that again. So I'm going to say 6. End of 6. That's what my bet is here.
What do you got?
I was thinking episode 5. And if not 5, then I would think it would be
End of 4.
7 or 8.
What,
I think 5 will be
What
the
is in
earliest.
particular about 6 that you don't like? You said 5 or 7, 8? There's
Because
something about
if
6.
5's too early, then 6 is too early. So you gotta skip to 7 or 8. But I think my guess is 5.
Fair. Okay.
That's my shot in the dark.
You know what? I think, it's a pretty animated costume. It's pretty flashy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he'll get it right away. He might get like a, version 1. That's
like Daredevil did,
yeah,
maybe, black and...
Yeah, maybe he'll have like a little bandana or something like that. But I'm thinking the full-on costume, I'm going to go episode, about 26 minutes into episode 8.
26 minutes into episode 8.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
I guess it depends on like the composition of the series, whether or not you're getting his backstory in the first couple episodes, or if you're just getting that for one episode and then it's kind of like jumps into this is what's happening now.
Right.
So I think that's what it's all
might be
going to
some
depend on.
flashbacks here and there.
Yeah. Oh no flashbacks.
Well, that's what Daredevil did.
No Arrow.
No, Arrow, Dylan has seen Arrow. Arrow flashbacks are on a whole nother level.
I don't know what that
They're a
means.
piece of shit. I'm sorry if you like the show. Literally, the show is in 5 seasons. Every episode, they have half of it, or maybe 20 minutes of it is a flashback.
That's awful.
It's
It's
awful.
a lot.
And for the first 2 years, it made sense.
Like for a movie like Memento, that works, but you can't.
Yeah.
Can't do like
That's a
5
movie.
seasons of a show of that.
I almost feel like it'll be Batman Begins, where Iron Fist now is back in New York trying to do his thing, but then throughout you're getting flashbacks of him being trained and whatnot, like the way Batman Begins was like, oh, Christian Bale / Bruce Wayne is coming back to Gotham, and you're seeing his journey like backwards.
No, I agree with
kind
that.
of,
That's
but
why I don't know
forward.
if it's going to be like a flashback thing or if it's going to be let's just dedicate this 1 or 2 episodes to it. I'd think
'Cause if
1,
it's
and
just
then this is where he's at now. And if we're getting this is where he's at now, then I think he'll have
Yeah.
his suit right away.
Because he gets it while he's training. So that's the thing. If we don't go in chronological order and it's like a flashback, he should have it.
Yeah.
So
Well, so far, Daredevil and Jessica Jones have all been. There's been a lot of flashbacks in there, just like random little
That's
segments.
true.
So I feel like they'll probably keep it up.
yeah,
that makes sense.
especially with
Maybe
TV.
not like one an episode, but like just like sprinkled here and there, just to
Yeah.
clear things up. I guess.
I guess too. We'll see with Luke Cage. And apparently the rumor is
Luke Cage. Well, Luke Cage even kind of did too in Jessica Jones, like as the character.
Yeah,
so.
I guess so.
Yeah, I
Maybe
guess.
it's-
Yeah. It's a bold for a show. There is a rumor going around that Iron Fist will be in the last episode of Luke Cage. So
Interesting.
I'm excited for that. So they say they'll have a lot to do with each other, and then I hope that after Defenders
I
that we
hope
don't.
So.
Why? Because
They're-
Heroes for Hire.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was
And
gonna
they're
say.
best friends. Like,
I hope that
I
af-
hope that they're together a lot.
I hope after Defenders we don't get an Iron Fist season 2 or a Luke Cage season 2. I just want Heroes for Hire rest of the time. Let's go. So
I guess it would depend on the success of each show, whether or not you get Heroes for Hire. Because, like, if Luke Cage does not do well, what's the point of putting him in? Well, I guess that may be a good argument for putting him in there.
yeah, I think honestly, if one does well, they kind of all do well. Just because Netflix, so like if you like this stuff or you're interested, you have no reason not to watch because you're already paying, right? It's not like a movie where like, oh, this is another $17 to $12 I got to pay. Where it's like, oh, I already have paid for Netflix, so I got this. So. And I guess we can move on to the main event of the TV Marvel panel. Something that was like, I was reading the live blog, and then, because what happens is they release this all to the crowd, and then, like, within 15 minutes, they just released all the teasers, boom, 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 back and forth. And I was going nuts, trying to update the GeekVerse Facebook and Twitter and all that, and just trying to watch the stuff too. So, the Defenders, they had the first teaser of it. One thing that was confirmed, I guess, later on, but still in the same vein, they confirmed that's going to be a series, because for a while there was rumors that they weren't sure if it was going to be a TV movie, like a 2-hour movie,
really? Okay.
or a series. Yeah, and at first
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, at first I almost I liked the movie route a bit better, but then once I kind of saw Jones' work and everything like that, and then I saw Daredevil season 2, because that was always my thing. I was worried, like, how could you juggle all 4 of those main characters throughout 13 episodes? But once I saw Daredevil and they juggled, like, Karen and Elektra and Punisher, like, once I saw them do all... And the same people that did Daredevil season 2 are doing Defenders. So after that, my tune kind of changed. Like, okay, I could see 13... And honestly, it was just like, I want 13 episodes. I want 13 hours of these people palling around. And, like... And that's what I like. We'll probably have, like, 3 episodes leading up to them teaming up or getting together. But, do you guys like that being a series instead of a 2-hour to 2.5-hour movie?
Yeah, I do.
I think it's they're kind of already been keeping it. The movies are doing their thing. The TV shows are doing their thing. They kind of reference each other every once in a while, slightly, little jokes here and there. But I think they should definitely keep what they're doing, right? Just keep up with this dark theme that they're going for overall with the TV show.
Yeah.
So
Why
then,
not, right?
the teaser, they released it, and I have to say, amazing. I don't know how many times I watched it. When I watched it the first time, I watched it over and over and over, and I couldn't believe it. It was so good, and like all of you that listen have probably seen it already. If not, I guess I'll do a mini explanation. But it was cool that it's like a bunch of papers, and then they're ripping it. And the first thing that I knew this was going to be a good teaser was you got the guitar riffs of like Come As You Are from Nirvana. And that was like... And Nirvana's in my top 5, so I got, like, just chills right away. And they, like, slowed it down perfectly. But they did this cool thing of, like, they'd rip newspapers and you'd see, like, their show logo and, like, something to do with the characters. So, like, with Daredevil, you saw, like, a church and everything like that. And with Iron Fist was Danny Rand. And then the end, they have, like, Defend in all their logos, which I think is so sick. Like, all the different logos put together in one word. So simple. And then they have it, like, the hand around Defend. So you know that the hand from Daredevil is going to be the villain likely because it just seems logical. And then just like, it's one line, but it's so simple. I love like Stick when he's like, oh, you think you can save New York? You can't even save yourselves. And then it's just like, boom, Defenders 2017. And it's like, it's only a minute and it's a very simple thing, but with the logos, with the visuals, and with the music, and just with, like I said, the one line, it felt really well done and perfect. Not even just for me being very biased and loving these characters, but it's just... The teaser alone just felt really well done.
It was very artistically pleasing.
That was well put. Like, I feel like if you didn't watch the show and you saw that, you'd be interested. You'd be like, oh, okay, you know. So, you guys have any other further thoughts on that?
I think you blew it wide open. I think it was phenomenal as well. I mean, there's probably a bunch of Easter eggs in there that you caught on to that I didn't. I felt
not too many.
Okay, yeah. But for me, no, it was just I didn't even think about that hand thing. I saw that hand and I was like, I guess it didn't even register in my mind as anything.
The hand's coming.
I gotta rewatch Daredevil again, man. That show.
Yeah.
But I'm obviously very excited. So.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely excited for that. I'm excited to see the team ups and see the chemistry between all the different characters.
Oh, yeah.
So far, what have we've only had Jessica Jones and Luke Cage meet up.
Yeah.
The others haven't even met each other.
Yeah, and then just
in front of
the
us,
nurse.
obviously, but
Yeah, she has to
The
be in it.
nurse.
She has to be in
I always
it.
forget her
Yeah.
name, so
Claire in the
Claire.
show.
Claire.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's it. You do get that like Avengers feel of like, oh man, I can't wait to see these guys all together.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely excited, and I'm personally more connected to these characters and enjoy watching them more than I do watching the Avengers.
Is that because
might
of
be in the
characters, or is that
minority,
because you
but-
get 13 hour? I don't know if you're in the minority. I love all the characters in Avengers, but like I've always said like Daredevil's my favorite thing Marvel's ever done, just because it's just. Like, we talk about, like, stuff like Fisk, right? Like, you don't really get to have that in the movies. Like,
No,
they
I
get
agree
so
with
much
that.
time to tell.
I was going to say, I think it's probably a combination of both. I do like these characters a lot more. Like, a lot of the characters that people love in Avengers, I'm not the biggest fan of. So,
Yeah.
I think that I'm personally really excited for this because these are characters I really enjoy. So, yeah.
Do we all kind of think that, because they do that hand preview, that Elektra's probably going to be the villain in this? Because she's in that tomb there.
I didn't even think about that
Yeah.
until you just said that.
Because remember...
I want to look
Think
back. I
about
like
that.
Elektra.
I'd be okay with that too. She was good.
Because then you get that whole thing of Matt having to fight somebody that he doesn't want to, and then... The only thing I hate that...
Kind of the arguments between them is to like he doesn't want to do fighter and they
and
do.
Jones might just want to kill her.
Yeah,
She's
Jones
like-
probably just
and
wanna kill
Stick,
her.
too.
Yeah.
And I secretly really want, even though Jones and Cage will probably have this awkward reconnection, I really, really want Jones and Murdoch to hook up. Just for some reason. I just want to see those characters. And then I think it should
And then
happen.
eventually Jones and Iron Fist, just all of them.
Well, no, not Iron Fist. Because Iron Fist and Luke Cage is their buddy.
Well-
I hope that... I know what you're going to say, but like I almost feel that would be good because that could create a little tension in the group between them, you know? Like
they
if,
could fight each other.
Well,
yeah, if Murdoch and Jones hooked up, Cage would be like, hey, like...
Hey,
you know,
stop that.
in the Jessica Jones comic run, I don't know which
The
one it was,
original.
the
it was
original comic
one,
run.
yeah.
Matt Murdock actually hires Luke Cage, and then he gets Jessica Jones a job as well to be his bodyguard because the public has now found out that he is Daredevil. So he hires the both of them to be his bodyguards, and obviously he's still pretending that he's not Daredevil in the comic run, but everybody's questioning as to why he's hired these two people to be his bodyguards. But that's
It's pretty.
that is how she meets. That's how she
Matt
meets
Murdock.
Matt Murdock in the comics.
And do they fall in love and hook up in the
No,
comics?
but
Not
she
at
says she
all.
loves him.
Mm.
So...
Like a brother?
No, I don't think so.
She is very all over the place in the comic.
She's
like
got-
all of
like the
She
show,
dates
yeah.
Ant-Man.
Nice.
Yeah,
go.
she goes on a date
Like-
with
Like
Ant-Man.
Paul Rudd's Ant-Man or
No,
the other
No.
Hank
before?
Pym, like Mike.
The old man.
Yeah, but he's not old. Like it's a
Yeah,
weird.
no, he's super young.
it's
He's
Time
comics.
travel and-
I
best
was
friends with whatever her name is.
and because
Marvel.
also talking about Elektra. Well, I guess the thing is cool too. Like I hope that we get to see, even though like I'm not the biggest Karen fan, but like I hope we do see the supporting characters from all the shows. You don't, as you roll your eyes.
Fuck Karen.
I like Karen.
But you don't like her more than Elektra.
I don't know. They're both good.
If you had to pick Matt to be with one, who would you rather pick?
Oh, definitely Electra.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, she has superpowers, kind of.
I don't think so. She's just a good fighter.
Superpowers to me.
But either way, we actually
I can't do that
never
stuff.
even answer the question. Do we think she will be the villainous sort of thing? This black sky they keep hinting at, which I don't even know because that's not in the comics. So it's
I
like
don't
I'm in
know.
the dark.
It's a code name.
Like I said,
To
I
get these
completely
comic book
didn't even.
nerds stop guessing. It's all new. We promise.
I
Yeah.
completely didn't even think about her being in Defenders as that
Mhm.
because I don't obviously only think of her as being
She would
a
get
Daredevil villain,
Wrecked.
By who?
The whole squad.
but the whole
I don't
squad-
think so.
If they just show up.
Oh, by the whole squad? I think you meant one by one. I think Elektra legitimately could kick Jones' ass. Because Jones
Oh,
can't fight.
easily.
She can't fight.
No.
She's just strong. But, like, those fight scenes she has in Jones, which I like, but they're like, so flimsy and whatnot. Matt, she has a chance.
But she can
'cause-
fly, so.
Yeah. Matt takes it easy on her. The other two are the problem.
Luke Cage. Like, you can stab me. I don't
Yeah.
care. Yeah.
And Danny's too nice,
And Iron
so...
Fist would just.
Yeah,
fireball
but
her
he's
to
too
death.
nice, so he'd, like, hold back a bit. But
Yeah.
So, Dylan, do you think she's villainous at all? Even if it's against her will. I think it's sort of that thing where she's, like, possessed, like, super evil.
Hadn't crossed my mind. I
Mhm.
thought she was kind of dead, but like probably she wasn't fully dead. I don't even.
She's
know.
coming back.
Yeah. I don't. I don't think she'll be. I don't think she would be. I also have no insight whatsoever.
I don't either. Like, there's been no rumors of, like, oh, she's coming back. It's just, I just assume by her being in that coffin, like, in the comics, she does come back to life at one point, but it's like, it always happens in different ways. So I imagine they'll come back. There's unfinished
I could see her
business.
just coming back and, like, being in the Daredevil season 3 sort of thing.
Okay.
And maybe not in the full Defenders.
Or if she does come back in Defenders, maybe it's not until the very end, and then we do get more of her in season 3 of Daredevil.
You know, it'd be great if Kilgrave comes back too, and
I would be
mind
so
controls her to
stoked.
mess with them.
Even
and
though
stuff.
apparently he's dead.
He was
Yeah.
great.
The best.
The best.
Last question I have, theorizing on this. I don't even know. Did you say you liked... I don't know if you even said if you liked it or not, the Defenders teaser.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Again, it's just kind of is what it is. It's very, hey, this is what I am.
Whatever.
No.
But no, I did really like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Over and under, or a percentage of if Punisher makes an appearance.
In Defenders?
Yeah. I think 100%.
You think so?
I feel like it's, if he doesn't, and there might be, like, obviously that...
I think they could, just because of, like... I think he was the shining star of season 2.
Yeah.
He's what made that, like, such a phenomenal, just TV show in general.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, if they tack on, Punishers and Defenders, by the way, I think that'll get a lot more people to
I
check
don't think
out.
they'd say it.
I don't think they'd say it.
I think because
Yeah.
in that tease,
But
he
after
says
it's been out, they release it all at the same time, right?
Oh yeah, that's
So,
fair. Yeah, that's fair.
My casual friend who just saw Daredevil doesn't know anything about Defenders. I'm like, yo, Punisher's in it.
That's okay. I see. Yeah, no, I think, I guess for me, it's just like, it's a little awkward if there's some sort of evasion or something big's happening in Hell Kitchen, and like he doesn't pop out to be like, hey, I'll help you guys, even if it's for I imagine.
Oh, you think he's gonna help them?
Yeah,
You think he's gonna join the team?
No, I think he'll help them for like one episode.
Fuck right off.
Like, it could be a thing where it's like episode 12, they're down nitty gritty, it's not looking good, and then like a bomb goes off and Frank pulls up in a motorcycle, like, hey, Red. And then like it ends, and then you get the 13th episode of him helping them out. Because I just feel like it's kind of weird if they don't explain where Frank is during all this. Like, if it is supposed to be like ninjas taking, because he helped Daredevil, right? Ninjas were all over there, and then he popped up with like a snipe.
True.
So
True.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I think he would be in it then.
I guess last like news we'll talk about, and I don't think you guys will have too much to add, but they officially announced that Ghost Rider, who they got the rights back to a couple of years ago, Taylor's favorite, wish Taylor was here. I haven't even told him the news yet.
The fire-headed skull man.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
He's going to be joining season, I think it's 4 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think they're on 4 now. I didn't watch it that much. I watched the first half, and then I stopped. And I know everyone says the same thing, like, oh, the finale was really good, and then apparently it just keeps getting better and better, but it's one of those things, like, when a show is not that good right away, it's like, yeah, you kind of give up, and it's hard to, like, get back into it, even if people are like, oh, it's good, so, yeah, they're using a different Ghost Rider. They're using the Marvel Now series, I think is Robert Ryers, I think Ryers is how you pronounce his last name, but it's not the one Nick Cage played in the movies. This Ghost Rider has
They're keeping that continuity alive. He's coming back.
This Ghost Rider,
The greatest crossover.
I don't think it's a Lamborghini. Maybe, you never know. I don't think it's a Lamborghini, but it's a nice car, and he has a car instead of a motorcycle.
Oh, that's
this
lame.
Ghost Rider. It is.
Unless it's a Toyota Corolla, then that would be.
Then he should be Ghost Driver, not Ghost Rider.
Well, Ghost Rider is technically like a Ra's al Ghul. Like, people take the mantle. Like, because technically the very first Ghost Rider had a horse.
Well, that makes sense. That's riding.
The Headless Horseman.
But how come when
You don't
someone's
ride
like,
a
"Hey,
car.
you want to come for a ride?" and
Because
it's in
they
the car?
are passengers, so does he have a chauffeur that drives him around?
Well,
that would
maybe,
be funny.
but maybe
That's
he's
not
being.
just
Maybe
Alfred.
they're saying he's Ghost Rider because he's being driven by the demon.
I don't know anything about this character at all.
Boom.
Does he have a whip?
What?
He's a whip, right?
No, it's a chain. It's not a whip.
Oh,
Same. It works like a
a
whip.
whip made out of chain.
His story, lots of people really liked him. I'm gonna read it now because I just never got around to it because I'm actually gonna watch the show now. I don't know if I'm gonna watch all those old seasons. It's a lot to catch up on. It's not nice Daredevil where it's a nice 13 episode. It's like a full on 24 episodes. That's tough, but
Well, they're not like hour-long episodes, are they?
no, they're 42
'Cause
minutes.
It's like
though.
actually on TV. Right?
Yeah, but the 42 minutes is still.
That's dedication right there.
Yeah, so I don't know. They are on Netflix, so that helps. So maybe
really?
we'll see.
I didn't
We'll
know
see.
that.
I got a lot of stuff on the go, but
Oh yeah.
yeah, no, lots of people really like him because he's like a bit more of an in-depth character. Like he has more emotional. Like the big thing is he has a brother that's paralyzed, and that plays a lot into it and whatnot. So yeah, I think it's good. I'm kind
Maybe
of
that's why he has a car. It might be hard to bring his paralyzed brother on a bike.
Well, there you go. Maybe.
Think about that.
the only part that I'm kind
Me.
of disappointed in is I was kind of hoping it would be somewhere Netflix or a Netflix series because I like.
Well, yeah.
Agent Shield, like I don't know, like it seems fine.
Yeah,
but
like who makes that? Like, is it relevant? Is it people who made any of the movies or any of the?
Well, kind of. It's technically the same people that make all the Netflix show. It's just they do it on ABC and whatnot. So technically they're in the same universe. There's just nothing connecting them. So I guess maybe they could take Ghost Rider and spin him off. I just like
Spin them off.
I like Ghost Rider. So I was just hoping I'd like to see that fiery guy and the rest of them. So
I just
Fire
don't know
guy.
anything about him
yeah, that's
at
fair.
all.
That's
Okay.
fair. Maybe you will this year. Nick Cage.
You will
Well, I
tomorrow.
will.
You will
as of
tomorrow. We're gonna watch
when we
Netflix
watch
and
it
Fail.
on Netflix and Fail.
Cheap plug.
Shoutouts.
Yeah, which actually to clarify, we're watching it tomorrow, but that won't come out till Sunday. If you're listening this the day it releases, so because
Keep you
tomorrow we
waiting.
got lots of nice
Keep you
juicy
wanting.
The
Comic-Con stuff.
anticipation.
Marvel panel.
It'll
DC
be
panel.
great.
And then the last thing we're going to talk about, not Comic Con related. That's the end of our Comic Con news. Like I said, check out tomorrow or what is the day? Yeah, if you're listening to us live tomorrow, if you're listening to archives, it's already all there for you. You can just boom download them all. So yeah, tomorrow's gonna be lots of fun. We'll be live streaming if you're listening to this the day of. We'll be live streaming on YouTube like usual. So check us out there for our nice glorious mugs. We're gonna do a mini review of Netflix Stranger Things because we all three have seen it.
Just came out, I would say,
Last
last
Friday.
week.
Yeah.
So
1
mid-July,
week.
roughly.
8
8 episodes.
Do we think we can review without any spoilers? Do we want to try and do that? Like, is there anything in particular that you'd want? Like, I'm saying, could we review without spoilers, or do you want to do a thing where we talk
I
without
don't think
spoilers?
we need spoilers,
Okay.
honestly, but I don't know.
That's fair.
Try my best.
Yeah, that's fair. I give a warning, but
We're
yeah.
gonna talk about the characters, obviously.
Yeah, that's fair, yeah. So, yeah, Stranger Things, who wants to start with, I don't know, their thoughts on the show?
Well, you gave a nice little description of it on our Facebook chat just to get the rest of us to watch it, I guess. So you compared it to, what did you compare
I
it to?
said it's a 80s homage that I felt like it was It meets the Goonies.
I was gonna say you have to throw in the Goonies because it's definitely got the Goonies vibe to it.
Yeah, it does, and that's where I threw in the It vibe because to me it has that mysterious, like kids are going missing, and there's a big monster, like there's a monster that's haunting like the town and whatnot.
Yeah, I think the tagline on Netflix is like 99% of the time when the kid goes missing, it's like the parents' fault or something. And this is like the other 1%. I know that's like some
That's
weird-
actually the
Yeah.
tagline.
It's
I
something
haven't
like that.
seen that yet.
And the
Yeah.
descriptions. Yeah, we didn't
Um,
even pay attention to that.
Yeah,
No.
so pretty much there's just a group of kids. They're playing some Dungeons and Dragons, and then shit goes haywire, and then one of them goes missing, and then there's a bunch of other characters who have storylines that all kind of meet up, I guess, towards the end.
Yeah. For me, the reason, like, I'm a big horror fan. We talk about a bit on here, but I just saw the trailer and I saw it was coming to Netflix, and I was really excited because Netflix hasn't really done anything like that.
I don't really think it's much of like a horror though.
I think it has
Obviously,
horror elements.
It's has a lot of the elements, yeah. But
Yeah, I think it has like I said. That's where I throw in the It. Like it's, I wouldn't say it's a full on horror, but I'd say it's like a
It's almost like a suspense thriller.
Yeah.
type.
with sci,
Close
and
to
that's
that
why I'd
for
say
sure.
yeah,
A bit, yeah.
with science fiction and
Sci-fi
horror. Like it's
and-
like it's almost like a lot of stuff you like, like are all together. Where I don't know. I guess I could see someone not liking this, but it's pretty well done in my opinion. It's pretty well made.
The-
All the acting's pretty good. There's only a few people that are
There's like a lot of like kids in there, and
The kids are all
I love
really-
to trash talk kid actors, but they were really good in
They
this.
were
Yeah.
really good, all things considered. Like rather impressive on their parts. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And I think that's what makes the show is those kids work. Like you watch
Yeah.
them and right away you're clicked in and you like each and every one of them. Like I love the kid with no teeth, and I love
Toothless.
Dustin.
yeah,
He was my favorite by far. He's
Oh, yeah,
so
he was
cute
so funny,
and
yeah.
he's so funny.
and
Yeah.
even the casting of like
Winona Ryder is a phenomenal human being.
human being.
She's a big star.
She's
Yeah.
a big star.
She's great. Me and Alex, who made our intro for
Mhm.
the GeekVerse podcast that you heard when you clicked on this.
Yeah.
We wrote a song dedicated to Winona Ryder a few months ago.
Wow, I would
So yeah,
think you need to play it for us.
I will. I'll play it.
Yeah, you should. I thought she was all right. There's sometimes she maybe overacted a little bit. You know, just a teensy
But
little
I think
bit.
that's classic Winona Ryder.
For
She's
sure.
always been a bit of an overactor, and
Yeah.
I think
She gotta
that
ham it
she
up
often
sometimes.
gets the roles that she does get because of that.
Yeah.
Like, just thinking of anything she's done in the past, she does tend to overact, but she often gets roles of characters who have big personalities, so
Yeah.
it makes a lot of sense.
But back to, we got off the tangent on Winona
It's
Ryder.
okay.
But for the kids, yeah, I think that's the main reason why the show is good, because if they don't work and you don't buy them being, they're obviously real kids, but like being real and the characters seeming real, I don't think you'd like the show, because the kid, like, it centers a lot around them, and yeah, there's so many times kid actors cannot be good, and it's not their fault because they're younger, but it's very stale, it's very just like, oh, they were just said, hey, say this, and they said it. You know, where
Yeah.
this, when you're watching the kids, it legitimately feels like what's happening on the screen is really happening. It does, and that's why it does have that Goonies vibe of all the kids not only are good, but they all have really good chemistry with
Yeah,
one
it's
another.
easy to get like immersed in the world that they're living in and kind
Mhm.
of feel their struggle, I guess.
Yeah, and like I said, it's all believable, and that's the
Mhm.
thing that's good, because I think that's the biggest thing for me. If you didn't believe in them, it'd be tough to get through. Because anytime the kids would be on, you'd be like, oh, like, the kids are back. You
And
know?
they're like the main squad.
Oh, yeah, and they're a good
Yeah.
squad.
And we didn't even mention the girl who plays the role of 11, and she
Mhm.
does a really good job. We looked at her IMDb profile, whatever you want to call it, and she hasn't really done a whole heck of a lot, but for what she did for this role, it's really impressive, I find. And like, her character has a supernatural element to it, and whereas some of the other characters don't, so I think that that's a really interesting aspect for a young child to actually play that.
Mhm.
So I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
Props to her.
No, she was very good.
I liked the Christmas theme. I liked that it was around Christmas. That was good. I always like kind of scary stuff around Christmas. Don't know why.
It wasn't like really that Christmas theme.
I don't know.
The
like,
last
there's
episode when they're like
Yeah.
1 month later or whatever.
True.
So-
I guess so. Maybe it was just because
It was leading up to it. It was the build. They did mention it a few times.
Yeah,
but
that's fair. But overall, like, the cast, there wasn't like we talked about a bit with Ryder being a bit out there, but I think overall, I think the cast was all really strong. They all did good in their
Yeah,
roles.
the only I wasn't like one of the main bad guys, I guess, the guy with white hair.
yeah,
He was pretty boring.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's funny because
his character didn't feel like a
He falls a
human
bit
being.
flat,
He just
yeah.
felt like a typical bad guy.
Yeah.
Who like doesn't get fleshed out.
yeah.
And it's funny. He's like
And then like, I'm
he's
trying to avoid spoilers.
yeah, he's my, and it's so funny because I have a history with this guy because
Okay.
You
dated him back in the day.
Oh yeah, big time. If anyone's listened to it, if not, I'm sorry, or if you have, sorry for repeating it. But in Dark Knight Rises, he's a big role. He is the cop in Dark Knight Rises. That's like the kind of guy that's taking over Gordon. He's just like an asshole cop.
Oh right. Okay.
Yeah, and I hate him in that movie because his character serves no purpose. It's just this one note. Like, it doesn't even matter. His character has nothing to do with the plot. You could take that out and save me 15 minutes. So when I saw him, I saw his name, and I can't remember. I can't remember his name. No, Foley's that. I almost call him Foley. That's his character name in Rises. But either way, I saw the guy and I saw the name, and I'm like, I know that name. And I looked it up on IMDb. I'm like, oh no, like. Emily and I were watching. I'm like, oh great, like this guy. And I'm like, oh yeah, it'll be fun. But yeah, he was like, I wouldn't say he was bad, but just like, yeah, kind of dull and boring. And like, they do this thing where, like, I won't spoil it, but he's supposed to have a connection with a certain character.
Yeah.
And you don't really buy it from his end, you know, like, it just doesn't make any sense. I wouldn't feel his writing, because the writing to me is pretty overall. It's really strong. Like, I think I've kind of underplayed it, but this, to me, I would recommend the show highly. Like,
Yeah.
it's phenomenal.
I would too.
And it's only 8
Agreed.
episodes. That's what I liked, and I don't think you need to go any longer. 8 episodes, perfect. You told a story, and it's just from start to finish was great. Like, I remember when I finished it, I was almost like, man, I would like to watch that again because it's small enough, and it just feels like a long movie, and that are my favorite TV shows when one season feels like a long movie. That's what it should feel like each. And I loved how it was actually in chapters and whatnot. Like, it felt like a book too. I've not read that many books, but that's what I felt like. It was just. It's
What do
really
you guys
good.
think of like special effects overall?
I think pretty good. There's sometimes where you
Pretty
can tell,
good
like,
for
a little
TV,
tough on Netflix budget.
Netflix budget.
Yeah.
I'd say pretty decent.
I think they're smart showing the monster in shadows and stuff like that. Like, they're obviously spoilers. There's a fucking monster in this, but, like, if you couldn't tell
You'll
by the
figure
trailer.
that out the first episode.
Yeah, like, so I like that they kind of had it in the shadows and stuff like that. And even at the end, it wasn't too bad. You know, there's certain areas maybe they go in that are supernatural, which are a little. I
Yeah.
think it's a little too much for Netflix, but it didn't look bad. It just you can tell it's not a movie. That's the one thing with TV. You can always tell with CGI. It's like everyone rags on this all the time. Like Walking Dead, the second they do CGI, you're like, oh, you can tell. Where like a movie, it's a little flawless or seamless, but in a TV show, you usually can tell. But the main monster to me was good enough. I wasn't like, it didn't take me out of it like I'd say a movie that's coming up on Netflix and fail the whole.
Yeah.
Like when you see the monster, whatever, like, oh, this is like it's cheesy every time it's on. It's the same thing as the kids. The monster works for what it's doing, so you're.
No, yeah.
It doesn't take you out of it. You agree with the effects? Yeah, you thought they were good.
The funny thing about it, there's like the quarry that they go to in the show. I was watching this other Netflix movie called The Fundamentals of Caring. It's the Paul Rudd one that came out, and they use that exact same place.
Do they?
It's like that quarry thing. I was just like, classic Netflix. Like they just, I don't know what if this is near their
That
studio
they
or
use the
something.
same actors all the time. And they love it.
Yeah,
but.
I just thought that was a funny
thing.
They're like, oh, this place looks cool. Let's use this in this show, and then. Oh, let's use this in this movie too.
I like that they did classic like kind of 80s like movie tropes, but then at the same time changed it a bit. Like the biggest thing, it's a little spoiler, but there's like there's a main young girl who's like the sister of one of the kids, and she's one of the main characters.
Nancy.
And we follow her, Nancy, and she has a boyfriend who like it kind of seems like it's gonna be like that jockey like douchebag sort of guy. But then as the thing goes on, it's not. He's still like the guy that maybe she shouldn't be with, but he's not like a full-on, like, they don't write him off to be like, oh, screw this guy. Like, they make parts of his character that you even like him a bit, so you can't fully be like, oh, I don't like this guy, or I'm hoping he dies, or something like that, It's like, where most time horror movie, that's where, to me, like, the tropes kind of feel horror movie, but that's where I like, it's a classic tropes, but changed a little, where most time in movies, TV shows, he's just going to be like a douchebag or a jock, and it's like, we've seen this many times, and so I like that. There's the whole throughout the series. There's little things that you kind of know, but it's a little different.
I mean, there still is that character with like his friend.
Oh yeah, for
He's
sure.
like
but I like that
douche,
he wasn't that. So.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
And the way it's done is obviously it's set back in the 80s, but it seems like it could have been made back in the 80s, except obviously it's more modern, but it's something that like believably could have been watched back in the 80s, almost how like a Freaks and Geeks was, is that like it's believable of the time period. They did a really good job of that.
Oh yeah, it feels
a lot of references, which are kind of funny and cute, and yeah,
that was good.
Those are good.
I'm trying to think of any other.
One thing I like to say is I'm personally not a big fan of sci-fi. I watch them occasionally, but I don't go out of my way to do it whatsoever. I actually really, really enjoyed this, and I would really recommend it to people, even if they aren't big fans of sci-fi, because it has so many other elements to it that it's not just sci-fi. Yes, a large part of it is, and that is a big part of the storyline, but there's so much other things that can get you into it just based on the characters of the kids alone. It's worth the watch. It's fun.
Yeah, and that's the thing too.
Watch.
Like, yeah, it is fun, even though it has like sci-fi, darker horror elements. It is fun, and it can get dramatic and serious when it has to. But there is still times when there's like bad stuff going on that it feels fun.
Yeah.
So. Did you have any positives, Dylan? I have some negatives.
Do I have any positives?
Well, I have some negatives, but I'm going to leave those to the end. They're not big ones, but just like a few minor ones. Because overall, I highly recommend the show.
I think, yeah. I mean, like we've said before, it's just 8 episodes, so I think the pacing's really good. The first episode kind of sucks you in, and then it kind of starts out with just the kids, but then it branches off into like 2 other storylines that eventually kind of tie in. But yeah, I thought it was overall just really well done. Yeah, nothing else we haven't said, I guess. Yeah. What do you got for negatives?
The only 2 is, like, I'm not going to spoil it. I just feel there's a couple characters, maybe one in particular, they kind of forget about and they don't really do much with later on, and I could tell you after the cast, but that's just one thing. It's like this kind of, like, character that's important to somebody, and it's just like, well, it just doesn't get explained, and the thing is, that kind of ties into, like, my second negative. There's parts explained, but I still wish there's certain things of the creature and maybe where that creature originates from that should be explained a bit more. It's tough to talk about spoilers, but the origin of the character and certain places they go, like in the last episode, it's not really explained. It lessened the blow for me. After this week, they've talked about there's going to be a season 2, so that helped. But for a while, if you take it as just a one season, which I thought it could be, because the way it does work...
Really? I kind of got the feeling they were going to do more.
Oh, really? See, because I took it as like it could have worked as
It
like a
could've worked
one,
as a singular standalone.
one and done, and then it was moving on. Like I almost thought they were gonna do the American Horror Story thing of
Stranger Things season 2 is a different.
yeah, and that's
stuff
what
like
I thought. But then they said they get more into it, so that's I'll have to see. So that's fine because you got Lisa Boom. But there's some questions that were left unanswered, and I was like, oh, I can't wait till the finale, and that's like, oh, they didn't
Yeah,
really answer that.
that's
you
fair.
know?
I think as more people watch it, they're going to have that same problem with it, just because talking to people that have watched it and somebody who's not finished it yet has been theorizing with me like, oh, I think it's could be this, I think like this is what's going on, and I'm just going like, I'm not going to say anything to you because I don't want to give it away, and like from what the person has said, that I think they'll end up having a problem being like, well, I want to know more about this and why this happened and how they got there, that type thing. So I think that's going to be a very common complaint about it, but hopefully with a season 2 we do get more information on that.
And it's not a huge complaint for me now that I know there's going to be a season 2 about this, but when it was when I thought it could potentially be one season, and like it could have been if like not enough people watched it, right? Because it's like, oh yeah, that was cool, we tried it out, no one really watched it, but I think enough people are going to watch it.
It seems like it's gained traction.
Yeah, and I think it's all like I said, those complaints are pretty minor ones, you know. Overall, I really enjoyed it. I watched it again. Like I think behind Daredevil, it's my favorite show of the year. Like it's my second favorite TV show so far. It was really strong, and yeah, I would highly recommend it. It's probably sitting at like 8.5 range for me, like a solid one of those.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably like an 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd give it about an 8. That's probably be fair.
Yeah, just because those minor complaints kind of take it down.
1
and some
point
of the
per episode, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so but yeah, I'll be very excited for whenever season 2 drops. But even then, I'd probably watch this again, and it was fun. So
Also, the theme is really good.
Yeah.
It's
even the opening
really
credits
good.
is really cool because it's just like the way it's like it's really old, almost like VHS type of way. And like it zooms out, and then you get that whole thing. Every episode is a chapter. Of
Yeah,
one.
I really like that.
Yeah, and
part
it
of
felt
when
very
Stranger
like
Things comes in.
Goosebumps for me. Like this
Yeah.
almost felt
Oh, yeah.
like a grown-up Goosebumps, and that's probably why I liked it a lot too.
It reminds me a bit of the beginning of The Shining, for some reason.
A little,
like
yeah.
Maybe it's just the font or whatever. Just
A little,
it's
yeah.
very similar to it. Reminds me of that.
And like I'm a sucker because it's my favorite era of music, but the soundtrack in the show is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like every episode has a couple 2 songs that fit with the scene, but are also like really good. So
Cool.
yeah,
Fun.
yeah, that was about
Hashtag
it.
fun.
Hashtag Safe Hannibal. Hashtag Comic-Con, which is why we're here.
Hashtag Comic-Con, yeah.
That's why we're here today. That's why we'll be here for the following day and the day after, here for the
Yes.
whole weekend, talking all the big news, everything like that. So you can find us everywhere. Just search GeekVerse, Facebook, Twitter, SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes, the whole shebang.
Everything.
Yeah, the whole shebang. So we got lots of good content coming out for Comic-Con weekend. And I promise you, you're gonna. If you don't like one, you'll like
You're
another.
gonna laugh. You're gonna cry. It's gonna be great.
But yeah, no, it's gonna be lots of fun. We have lots of fun stuff planned. So I'm very excited for the rest of the weekend, rest of the news. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you for the rest of Comic-Con. And I promise it will not be boring.